What's up, everybody? This is Carter from CoasterEndeavors, and today I'm going to be talking about Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. As somebody who has gotten to ride Top Thrill Dragster a multitude of times between 2017 and 2021, it was my all-time favorite coaster. So when they reimagined Top Thrill Dragster into Top Thrill 2, I wanted to ride it so bad, and I could not wait to experience the new and improved Top Thrill Dragster. Unfortunately, in 2024, I didn't get to ride it, but it seems like the park and Zamperla have started to get it together because Top Thrill 2 has had a great season. It has been open the majority of the time, and I hope that it continues to do so in the future. In this review, I'm going to be discussing the changes between the original Dragster and Top Thrill 2. I'm going to go over the ride experience, and I'm going to say which one I think is better, because I do think that one attraction is better than the other. When you pull up to Cedar Point, if you haven't been there since 2023, you're going to be relatively surprised when you see a massive spike towering 420 feet in the air. It absolutely adds to the skyline that was already incredible. But now, there's just even more to take in. It makes Power Tower look small, and that's a 300-foot plus structure. So, just to put it into perspective. You pull up to the new entry plaza that has been beautifully done. There's a Top Thrill 2 sign that greets you when you walk in. There's new pavement, a new shop. And it's just a sigh of relief to feel that part of the park alive again. It was so dreadful walking through there with Dragster just sitting idle, and it was just sad. But now that area is back alive again, and I am happy to announce that it feels every bit as good in that area of the park that it did when Dragster was running. When you enter the queue, you're going to have to put your stuff in a locker. If you've seen other reviews, you've already heard about this. Or if you've ridden this, you know how it is. Everything goes in a locker. Then you go through metal detectors, and once you clear there, you go through the old Top Thrill Dragster queue, except this time there is roofing on top of you, which I understand considering the accident that it had. You walk up to the station, and the first thing you're going to notice is it is a very, very tight station. If you have claustrophobia, this might be a bit much for you, but luckily you're not in there long because they only keep the next train passengers in the station at a time. You'll notice the brand new lightning trains from Zamperla. They look absolutely gorgeous, and to make it even better, they are very, very comfortable. Some of my favorite trains I've ever experienced. You're going to see a blue train, a silver train, and a black train, all of which look fantastic. You pull down your overhead lap bar, there's no seat belts, and then you roll out of the station. The first difference from Top Thrill Dragster to Top Thrill 2 is instead of just pulling forward, you're going to actually pull out, turn to the right, and turn to the left onto the launch track. Since this is a swing launch coaster, the station can't be on the launch track, or else you can only run one train. So that makes sense. After you pull up to the Christmas tree light, you're going to stop, park, and that switch track is going to switch back and lock into place. So now the track is connected to the spike behind you. In front of you, you see that classic 420-foot top hat from Intamin from back in 2003. Absolute spectacle to look at. It is just a masterpiece. So massive, so iconic. It's just awesome. The Christmas tree lights are going to come down just like the old Dragster. A little bit different because this time it's horizontal instead of vertical. You accelerate to 74 miles an hour, which is still fast, but compared to launching from 0 to 120, it is unfortunate. Try your best not to compare it to that old launch or else you're going to be disappointed. But that's just the ride getting started. You start to ascend that massive top hat, and I mean massive. You really can appreciate how giant that structure is on your first time going forward because you don't even make it close to the way up. You don't even clear the pull up. The whole train is still trying to pull up to the vertical angle, and then you stall and roll back. And I know the park is trying to advertise this as a rollback, but it really doesn't do anything. You just stall out and fall back down. It really isn't anything special. So the beginning of Top Thrill 2, I'm not the biggest fan of, to be completely honest with you guys. But that feeling ends right here. You hit the reverse launch to 101 miles an hour, And while it's not a very forceful launch, it is crazy going that fast in reverse. And then you go under the station, and there's this crazy head chopper that you hit, and you ascend this spike. And guys, this spike is ridiculous. Like, this is one of the craziest elements on any coaster in the world. You just keep getting higher and higher and seeing the ground get smaller and smaller. You're looking so far down at the top of Rougarous Hill, and you're looking down at Power Tower, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I am higher than Giga coasters, and I'm just facing straight down. It's ridiculous. Then you stall out, feel some weightlessness, and then you start to descend back to earth. And now you're onto the best sequence of the ride. You feel the positive G's on the pull out of that spike, and then you hit launch 3. And launch 3 is a riot. When those LSMs engage, you feel yourself get forcefully pinned against your seat. Not like the old dragster, but still, you're already going over 100 miles an hour, and then you speed up, and it's still forceful. Since you're going that fast already, the launch track seems a lot shorter than it did earlier, and it still has to boost you 20 miles an hour faster than you're already going. This time around, that top hat is coming up quick, just like the old dragster. How you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like we're going too fast for this top hat. I feel like I'm going to fly over. But nope, the math has been done perfectly. You ascend the top hat, you feel insane positive G's as you're pulling up, and then you snap to the right in a 90-degree rotation, and you get some insane laterals, more so on this than on the old dragster because your seats are elevated. And like the old dragster, you're at the top of the top hat, but not for long, because now you're plummeting back to earth with a 270-degree spiral. And I always liked this drop. I thought it was cool dropping 400 feet. But on Top Thrill 2, it's a better drop because, like I mentioned, the seats are at a higher elevation. So the heart line is not how the ride was originally designed. Now, the heart line is near the lower half of your body. So there's much more lateral forces on the top end of your body. So when you hit that spiral, you snap through it, especially if you're in the back. If you're in the back, it's ridiculous. Then you pull out of the top hat, which I'm not sure what the actual G-force is at the bottom, but it feels like at least 4.5. And then just like the old dragster, you go through the finish line and then you hit the brakes. Guys, I could not be happier. I was very skeptical about this ride because of the slow accelerations. But yes, the first one was unfortunate, but the second two were great. And it was just a breath of fresh air getting to experience that top hat again. So, are there any negatives with this ride? There are, but they don't really take away from the ride for me personally. Number one, it's not necessarily a glossy, smooth ride. It's a little bit shaky, and yes, you'd expect that from a ride going 100 plus miles an hour. But this one is definitely shakier than Dragster. Dragster was pretty much smooth anywhere you sat. The launch was a little bit shaky if you were in the back, but regardless, it was very minimalistic. Top Thrill 2, you can feel it anywhere on the train, especially the silver train. It's not that bad, and if you have a high tolerance, it's hardly noticeable. But there is a little bit of a shimmy. It doesn't take away from the ride experience. Now, do I think Top Thrill 2 is a worthy successor to Top Thrill Dragster? 100% absolutely yes. You still get to experience the top hat, and you still get to experience the 120 miles an hour. Even more than that, you get to experience 100 plus mile an hour for more now than you did on the previous attraction. A lot more, because you have that reverse launch as well. The spike, you have the spike now. You didn't have a spike before. And you have a much greater ride time than you did on Top Thrill Dragster. So yes, without a doubt, a worthy successor to Top Thrill Dragster. I do prefer Dragster specifically for the launch. I think the launch on Dragster was better than any single moment on Top Thrill 2. If I could have the old Dragster back, I would take it in a heartbeat. But Top Thrill 2 is fantastic, and you lose the launch, but you gain more ride time, a crazy spike, and even more comfortable trains, and a better color scheme. So what do I rate Top Thrill 2? I don't think anybody's going to take this as a surprise, but it's getting a 10 out of 10. I mean, where else can you ride a roller coaster that goes over 400 feet? with King Ka gone, unfortunately, and Falcon's Flight is so far away. And that hasn't even opened yet, so who knows how that's going to go. But as of right now, this is what you got. You got Giga coasters, and then you've got a single Strata coaster. You absolutely need to get to Cedar Point if you haven't been yet. That park's good in general. It is so stacked. The lineup is ridiculous. But with Top Thrill 2, it just makes it even better. I'm so happy that they were able to preserve the 420-foot top hat. It's an icon. It really is. And it's right in the center of the park. They kept the stadium seating to watch the launch. And now the spike is right next to it as well. So you get to watch that. It's just a joy. It really is. And it gets you excited to go to the park. So that's what I think of Top Thrill 2. It's absolutely a worthy successor to Top Thrill Dragster. And it happens to be in my top 5 out of 302 roller coasters. So based on those stats alone, it is a good ride. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. That helps the channel a lot. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.